Hey, coin collectors and history buffs. Welcome back to the channel, where we dive deep into the world of rare and valuable coins. Today, we're counting down the top 5 most valuable wheat pennies and sharing the stories that make them so legendary. Let's jump in. First up, the 1955 double-die Lincoln wheat penny is one of the most iconic and sought-after era coins in United States numismatic history. It's not just a coin, it's a piece of a printing mistake that became legendary. But how did this error happen? What makes this penny so valuable? And how can you tell if the one you found is real? Let's explore the full story. In 1955, the United States Mint was producing pennies at full speed to meet the demand of a growing post-war economy. At the Philadelphia Mint, one particular coin press struck Lincoln cents using a working die that had accidentally received a doubled image during the hubbing process. This process, called hubbing, involves pressing the master design into the working die. But when it's misaligned or repeated off-center, it causes what's known as a doubled die. And this wasn't just a minor doubling that only experts can see under a microscope. The 1955 doubled die is so dramatic that the word "Liberty," the motto "In God We Trust," and the date 1955 appear clearly doubled to the naked eye. The lettering looks like it's vibrating or echoing, which instantly caught the attention of anyone who saw it, even back in 1955. At first, mint workers noticed the flaw, but by the time they tried to stop the presses, nearly 24,000 of these doubled die cents had already been mixed with normal coins and sent out into circulation, mainly in New England. What happened next turned this error into legend. Many of the coins ended up in cigarette vending machines, soda machines, and even pocket change. People started finding them and holding onto them, and word quickly spread that this wasn't just a regular penny. Because the doubling was so obvious and strange, many people first thought it was counterfeit. But once the coin community confirmed its authenticity, demand exploded. The 1955 double die cent became one of the most famous error coins in America, so famous that it was even featured in national news stories and coin magazines. Now, let's talk value. Back in the 1960s and 70s, you could buy a circulated 1955 double die for under $100. But today, even worn examples sell for hundreds, sometimes thousands, depending on condition. A heavily circulated example might bring in around $500 to $1,200. If it's in better shape, say AU, or about uncirculated, it could sell for over $2,000 to $4,000. But the real treasure lies in uncirculated mint state coins. A genuine, mint state red example, graded Ms. 65 or higher, can fetch well over $10,000, and some have sold for more than $15,000 at auction. The highest recorded sale for a top-graded example reached above $50,000. Counterfeits do exist, though. Scammers have tried everything from using altered coins to stamping fake doubling. But trained collectors know what to look for. The key is strong doubling only on the obverse, especially on Liberty and the date. The reverse side is completely normal, with no doubling. Also, real 1955 double die cents were only minted in Philadelphia, so they have no mint mark. Today, the 1955 double die wheat penny is more than just a minting mistake. It's a collector's dream and a powerful reminder that even errors can become valuable treasures. Whether you're a beginner or a veteran in the hobby, this coin is likely on your wish list. And if you're lucky enough to find one in your change, you've just discovered one of the most famous error coins in US history. So always check your pennies. You never know, what looks like a regular coin might just be worth thousands. Next up, the 1951 Lincoln wheat penny may not look like much at first glance, but it's an important piece of American coin history. Struck during a time of post-war optimism and industrial growth, this coin was minted at the Denver Mint and marked with a small D beneath the date. But what is the history behind this coin, and is it worth more than just 1 cent? Let's go back to 1951. America was booming. The Korean War had begun the year before, and the country was expanding its military production, rebuilding industries, and navigating the early stages of the Cold War. During this period, the U.S. Mint continued producing Lincoln cents in high numbers to meet growing demand. The Lincoln Wheat Cent, first introduced in 1909, was designed by Victor David Brenner to honor President Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. Its reverse featured two wheat stalks, symbolizing strength and prosperity. The 1951D penny followed this same classic design, with Abraham Lincoln's profile on the front, the motto "In God We Trust" above his head, liberty to the left, and the date, 1951, with the D mint mark on the right. The Denver Mint produced over 625 million of these pennies in 1951. Because of this large mintage, the 1951D is considered common among wheat pennies. Most examples that survive today are found in circulated condition coins that were used in daily life, passed from pocket to pocket, and handled by millions of Americans. So, what's it worth today? In heavily circulated condition, the 1951D wheat penny is typically worth around 3 to 10 cents. In higher grades, like extremely fine or about uncirculated, it might sell for $0 to $5 to $1.00. But if you have a mint state version, especially one with a bright red luster, it could be worth $2 to $5 or more, depending on the exact grade and quality. For collectors, coins graded Ms. 65 red by professional grading services like PCGs or NGC can sell for $20 to $50, and even higher if it's nearly flawless. These top-grade coins are rare because most pennies were used, worn, and never stored in perfect condition. There are also some minor varieties and errors associated with the 1951D, such as die cracks, repunched mint marks, or off-center strikes. These aren't extremely valuable, but to the right collector, they can sell for a few dollars or more, especially if they're dramatic or unique. While the 1951D may not be $1 million coin, it tells a story of American history of a nation rebuilding, growing, and changing in the early 1950s. For coin collectors, every Lincoln wheat penny is a small piece of that story. And who knows, you might just find a high-grade or error example sitting quietly in your collection. Next up, the 1922 double-die Lincoln wheat penny is one of the more elusive and fascinating coins in American numismatics. While many collectors are familiar with double-die coins like the famous 1955 version, fewer know about the unique doubling found on certain 1922 cents. This coin is surrounded by mystery, rarity, and minting oddities that make it one of the most desirable coins from the early 20th century. To understand the 1922 double-die penny, we first need to understand the year itself. In 1922, the U.S. Mint only authorized production of Lincoln cents at one facility, the Denver Mint. That means every genuine 1922 penny should have a small D mint mark under the date. However, due to worn dies, die polishing, and minting issues, some 1922 cents were struck without the D, creating the famous 1922 no D penny, an already rare and collectible coin. But within that group of coins, a much smaller and rarer variety exists, the 1922 double-die obverse penny. This coin displays a strong doubling effect on Lincoln's eye, body, and parts of the date and lettering. The doubling was caused by a die that was overused or misaligned during the hubbing process, where the die receives the design from the master hub. Over time, repeated hub impressions can become misaligned, creating the doubling effect on the final working die. Once these doubled dies were used to strike coins, the result was a small number of pennies with visible doubling, making them highly valuable today. Because of the unique minting conditions in 1922, the doubled die penny is even more desirable. Unlike other years, where multiple mints produced cents, 1922 had only one mint issuing Lincoln pennies, and among those millions of coins, the double-die variety makes up just a fraction. Most were released into circulation unnoticed, and very few were saved in high condition. That's why even circulated examples are valuable. In terms of value, the 1922 double-die penny can bring in significant money, depending on condition and clarity of the doubling. A well-circulated example might sell for between $500 to $1,000, depending on eye appeal. If the doubling is strong and the coin is in better condition, such as very fine or extremely fine, collectors are often willing to pay several $1,000s. In uncirculated or mint-state grades, this coin can be worth over $10,000, and examples certified by grading services like PCGs or NGC with clear doubling have sold at auction for more than $20,000. Due to its value, counterfeits and altered coins do exist. Some fake versions are made by removing the mint mark from a regular 1922D penny, attempting to mimic the rare no D or double die variety. Others try to simulate doubling by striking or engraving techniques. This is why certification from a reputable grading company is essential when buying or selling a 1922 double die penny. Collectors should also note that there are a few varieties from 1922 that can be confusing. The most famous is the no D weak reverse and no D strong reverse varieties, which are different from the double die obverse. While those are valuable in their own right, the double die has its own unique appeal due to the dramatic doubling seen on the obverse. Today, the 1922 double die wheat penny remains one of the most elusive finds in pocket change and coin rolls. It's a coin that represents a moment of imperfection in the minting process, an error that turned into a treasure. For collectors, it's not just about the value but about owning a rare piece of minting history that few others possess. Next up, the 1946S double die. Lincoln Wheat Penny is a coin that many collectors hope to discover, but few ever do. While it's not as famous as the 1955 double die or the 1922 no D penny, the 1946S double die holds a special place in the world of error coin collecting. It's a quiet rarity easy to overlook but potentially valuable to those who know what to look for. Let's take a step back to understand the context. The year is 1946. World War II has just ended, and America is transitioning into a period of post-war recovery and rebuilding. The U.S. Mint resumed the use of copper and cents after the experimental steel cents of 1943 and the shell casing brass cents of 1944 and 1945. The 1946 cents, including those struck at the San Francisco Mint, marked a return to normalcy in coinage. Over 198 million wheat pennies were minted at the San Francisco Mint that year, each bearing the small s beneath the date. Among those millions, a small number were struck using a misaligned or overused working die that had been incorrectly hubbed, resulting in doubling on certain parts of the coin. This is what we refer to as a double die. In the case of the 1946S, the doubling is typically found on the obverse, particularly in areas like the date, the motto "In God We Trust," and sometimes the word "Liberty." However, the doubling is often subtle and not as dramatic as some of the more well-known double die cents, which is one reason this variety remained unnoticed for years. Even though the doubling may not be obvious to the naked eye, in most cases, it still holds significant value for error coin collectors and Lincoln cent enthusiasts. The 1946S double die is considered scarce, and its value depends heavily on the strength of the doubling, its condition, and whether or not it's been certified by a trusted grading service. In circulated condition, a verified 1946S double die penny can bring anywhere from $15 to $50, depending on clarity and wear. Higher grade examples, especially in mint state red, can easily sell for $100 to $300 or more. Rare, sharply doubled examples in top condition may even command prices of $500 or more, particularly if graded Ms. 65 or higher by PCGs or NGC. However, because many of the doubling effects on 1946S coins are subtle, they are often overlooked or mistaken for mechanical doubling, which is much more common and far less valuable. This is why authentication is key. If you believe you found a 1946S with doubling on the obverse, it's important to examine it under magnification or submit it for grading and verification. As with many double die coins, collectors value these not just for their rarity, but for what they represent, a moment where precision met imperfection at the U.S. Mint. Every time you find a genuine double-die penny, you're holding a little bit of minting history, an accidental treasure born from the complicated process of creating billions of coins. So while the 1946's double-die penny may not make headlines like its 1955 or 1969 counterparts, it remains a rewarding discovery for any serious collector. It's a reminder that even common dates and high mintage coins can contain rare varieties waiting to be discovered by a watchful eye. Next up, the 1909's double-die Lincoln wheat penny is one of the rarest and most fascinating coins in all of American numismatics. Not only is it tied to the beginning of the legendary Lincoln cent series, but it also carries one of the most elusive and lesser-known double-die varieties ever produced. This coin is more than just copper and metal, it's a piece of minting history that every serious collector dreams of owning. Let's begin with the basics. The year 1909 marked the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. To honor the 16th President of the United States, the U.S. Mint introduced a brand new 1-cent coin featuring his portrait. This was historic. Not only was Lincoln the first real person to appear on a regular U.S. coin, but the design itself was revolutionary. Victor David Brenner, a sculptor and engraver, created both the obverse and reverse designs, with Lincoln's bust on the front and 2 wheat stalks on the back, a design that would remain in use for 50 years. There were 2 mint facilities that struck Lincoln cents in 1909, Philadelphia and San Francisco. The San Francisco Mint, marked with a small s below the date, produced only 1,825,000 Lincoln cents in 1909. That alone makes any 1909's Lincoln wheat penny a rare and desirable find. But an even smaller number of these were struck with a dramatic and noticeable error, a double die. The 1909's double die obverse penny is one of the scarcest of all Lincoln cent double die varieties. The doubling on this coin is most evident in the motto, "In God We Trust," and sometimes in the date and the word liberty. However, because minting technology in 1909 wasn't as advanced as it is today, the doubling may not always be dramatic, but when you find a genuine example, the details stand out under magnification and make the coin instantly more valuable. So how does a double die like this happen? The error occurs during the hubbing process, when the master hub presses the design into the working die. If the impressions are not perfectly aligned, the die ends up with a slightly doubled image. When that flawed die is used to strike coins, every coin it produces will carry the doubled features. In 1909, this quality control issue was not caught quickly, and only a small number of double die cents were released into circulation before the die was retired. Because of its extreme rarity, the 1909's double die Lincoln cent is rarely seen, even by seasoned collectors. Its value depends heavily on the clarity of the doubling, the coin's overall condition, and whether it has been authenticated by a trusted grading service like PCGs or NGC. In lower circulated grades, a genuine 1909's double die penny might sell for $2,000 to $5,000 or more. In higher grades, like extremely fine or about uncirculated, it can reach $10,000 to $20,000, depending on eye appeal and strength of the doubling. Mint state examples are extremely rare, and a certified Ms. 64 or higher can sell for $40,000 to $100,000 at major coin auctions. Some of the finest known examples have sold for even more, making this coin one of the most valuable early Lincoln cent varieties. But with great value comes risk. Because of how valuable the 1909's double die is, there are many counterfeits and altered coins on the market. Some fakes involve adding an S mint mark to a regular 1909 Philadelphia cent, or artificially enhancing the doubling. This is why it's crucial to buy only authenticated coins, preferably from trusted dealers or auction houses, and to consult experts when in doubt. Despite its rarity, the 1909's double die penny continues to spark excitement and curiosity. For Lincoln cent collectors, it represents the perfect storm of factors: low mintage, key date, and a dramatic mint error. It's a coin that takes you back to the very beginning of the Lincoln series and offers a glimpse into the imperfections of early 20th century minting.